Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. D. Eric Body Beats. It's a vibe.
We have a special guest today.
Special.
Stephanie Taylor.
Yes.
She's so before we even get into anything, I need to tell you, I've been wanting to get you on this podcast.
Yeah.
Arguably within the first couple months that I was
Yeah.
doing it. And here's the reason why. Because you don't give a fuck. No, seriously.
Cares
Tom.
none, you
Cares
say.
none.
Cares none, you say.
So when I came out with the brand, actually you probably fucked with the Cares none before that, but when I came out with the brand, she was one of the first to like really support it, because she was like, I totally fucks with that. So I just want to give you straight, look at that. Yeah, I want to give you credit for
He
that.
didn't
Look
even
at
tell
that.
me to wear it.
Oh,
we didn't even
you
talk
gotta.
about it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so what, you said you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Right away.
So you have been asking me for a long time. And there have been times where I kind of swerved you a little bit. And that was never intentional, because when we did talk about it, I always had intentions of like coming and joining you. And then the day would come and my anxiety would just not allow it to happen.
And then
So-
you had like 5 kids since, right?
so I have 4. So I have 4. But
So I actually wanted to explain that, especially from someone who so cares none. So that's ironic that I just said that. So I wanted to ask you, or anybody for that matter, when you've never done a podcast, what are those anxiety feelings the first time?
So I have no idea where mine stemmed from until I had my surgery last year, and they said that the tumor that I had removed, that you probably know about. I think we talked briefly about it.
I know very little bit about this, what you told me,
But anyway, to make a really long story short, this tumor that I had was sitting in my adrenal gland. Your adrenal gland is responsible for your adrenaline, your like fight or flight response and stuff like that. My anxiety was through the roof, and then I find out it's related to that thing. Since it's been removed, I have no anxiety at all. I mean, I check to see
Really?
if my 7-week-old is breathing in her sleep, but other than that, yeah. I
so
don't
you
get
definitely felt a
yeah.
big time drop.
And when they did all the testing ahead of time, before they removed it, all of my levels, I wouldn't be able to tell you what that, like specifically what they are, but all of the levels that are responsible for anxiety were like 7,000 times higher than what a normal person's are supposed to be. And
so
so
you be tripping.
there were days where I was laying in bed and I would call Nate at work and I would say, I'm going to die. Today is the day I'm going to die. I'm not going to be here anymore. I was getting my life insurance policy together. I was getting all the paperwork for like my kids' doctor's offices just in a pile, in a folder in the basement. So it's like, hey, when I die, at least everybody's straight. And then I had that surgery, and literally like instantaneously I felt like normal again.
Are you good now?
Yeah.
Like 100%? Mm-hmm. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So we're good to go.
Man, so
It was crazy.
So as a guy who's never truly, I don't know if I've ever felt like I was an anxious person. Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever said that I got anxious was at restaurants. So I used to be a server, as you know.
Right.
Let's say me and you were going to a restaurant, and then the server comes. It's Saturday night. It's busy as hell. And then the person I'm with is like, can't figure out what they want to order. And I'm just like,
You're like, come on.
yeah, I'm like, because I know, and listen, I'm not the one serving, but I
Yep.
just know that this chick is going crazy,
Got
or this
something to
guy's.
go. Yeah.
So then I'm like, do you know? They're like, well, give me a sec, hold on. And I'll say, no, just come back. And I feel like that's the only time I get anxiety. But then, explain what anxiety is.
And anytime I use the word anxiety, I can't like diagnose, I'm not the professional or doctor, right? So anytime I use the word anxiety, that's just like my interpretation of it. But my anxiousness was, I like overthink everything. I'll be driving, or I would be. I don't really feel it much anymore, but I would be driving and I'm like, what if this car swerves over and hits me? Or did I strap my baby up good in the back? Like there were times where I would like pull over to check to make sure Mila, my older daughter, was strapped properly. You know what I mean? We have cameras in our house, which was a horrible thing to do when I was an anxious person, because I'd be at work bartending and I would stop doing everything to go check the cameras in the house, even though Nate's there with the kids and everybody's, you know what I mean? And I would check every camera. Are the kids okay? Is everybody okay? Is the door locked properly? Like,
So you just felt like,
nervous all the time. All the time. It was bad.
you know, Steve, my buddy Steve,
Yeah,
he was on, and I think you probably
Yeah,
seen me
I
talk
know
about
Steve,
him.
yeah.
He's a pretty anxious person.
Okay.
So he has anxiety and stuff like that. And this is interesting because I can't see it on his face,
You usually can't, probably.
But like, so he internalizes pressure. So he does like sports book betting, and he's really good at it in fantasy, daily fantasy sports.
Yeah.
And for big numbers, like extremely big numbers. And it'd be like 30 grand on a game, and he'll just be like, even if he's like not winning, he'll just be like.
But inside, he's shitting himself.
It's crazy.
Probably, yeah.
So you can't really read it on someone's face. Are you an anxious person?
No, I'd say no for the most part, but I feel like it's one of those things, like you said, like most people probably kind of just like when you have it, you know it. Like when you finally like get to that point, but like I feel like there's no point where you're like, oh, it's very black and white. Like I think everybody experiences it kind of differently. I think everyone to some degree has like, oh, did I lock the door? Did I lock my car when I left and such like that?
Right.
Yours is funny about the with the restaurant and such like that, because that's something that would like bother me a little bit. Are you
as the person with someone else who's taking their time?
Yeah, or just like, hey, they're coming here. Are you one of those people? I know this is super weird, but my girlfriend and I always kind of go butt heads on this about merging like early or late to get like off on an exit or something.
That's actually funny you say that. Me and Steve so technically the correct way to do it is at the end. I'm like a middle to early. But it's called the zipper effect.
You looked this up?
No, I saw it like on a TikTok, but then they proved it. So the way you're supposed to go all the way to the front, and it's supposed to like zipper. So, but most people think you're just an asshole going to the front.
For going to the front.
Right, and I feel
hate
that
the
way
people
too.
who go to the front.
Like, you dick.
Well, and the anxiety part is like my girlfriend will be driving, and like our exit's next, and she's like 3 lanes over, and I'm like, why did we need to be like this?
I think that's a normal couple thing, though. In my opinion,
we're very different on the driving side of things. But that's the only thing. To answer your question, no, I don't feel like I deal with like a lot of anxiety.
That must be so nice to never be anxious. That must be so nice.
I mean, I've had it, but I don't like. It doesn't like cripple me, and it's not like a part of my life. To the point where I'm like,
it can be crippling
this is
for people.
really affecting me.
Yeah, Steve says it can be crippling.
Yeah.
D. Eric Body Beats. It's a